you need to learn how to enforce boundaries properly and
Yeah.
argue in a way that is firm but also calm. Because when you're
Yeah.
losing your temper and getting angry in
Yeah.
arguments, she's seeing you as volatile, and that's a kind of
Yeah.
weakness in a man, and that
Yes.
does more damage to the trust that she has for you. Okay.
Yes.
So learning
Agreed.
what it means to actually provide emotionally so she feels safe with you, and you're not just the
Hmm.
provider in terms of money and paying the bills, but also the provider in terms of her sense of self-esteem too, feeling validated and cherished by you. You need to
Hmm.
improve on that. You need to
Yeah.
improve on your argument too. In some ways, like, it's just a lose-lose for a man to argue with the woman. Okay. It becomes just like two handbags going at each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're never going to come out of it well. So you need to just
No.
stay above the argument rather than get sucked into it. Give her the
Yes.
clarity, give her the boundaries, but almost more like father to daughter, as in, this
Hmm.
has got disrespectful now. We're going to stop and we'll talk further when you're calm. Right.
Yeah.
So you put the
Yeah.
hard line in. She knows she can't mess with that. And the other
Yeah.
thing is, you've encouraged her career and use this phrase of her being able to like flourish and go after her goals. And you've really driven that too, right? You've just given her the green
Yeah.
light and said, yeah, go for it. I'll support you. A really blunt question, but look, you haven't got a lot to lose here if it's like 5 minutes
Yeah.
to midnight with the marriage. Does she out earn you now? Some studies put it at like top thing that's associated with divorce.
Yeah.
Others have it high up there, along with
Yeah.
like infidelity. But yes,
Yeah.
one of the things you got to watch out for the dynamic between the husband and wife. That dynamic is something that feeds into the attraction that women have
Yeah.
for men. Like, they like the
Yeah.
sense of status and being able to look
Yeah.
up to a man who's leading in all areas, not just in
Yeah.
terms of emotional stability, but
Hmm.
also financially as well. You've allowed these habits to creep in on a lot of different levels, where she's either your equal or in some areas even your superior. And then
Yes.
that
Yes.
gives her the idea that you're no longer like the leader. Instead, that's more like a extra child. Like, she'll feel
Yeah.
maternal towards that kind of guy rather than sexual. It makes sense that you are where you are. It's not a mystery. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but it's not a mystery. It's not just bad luck. Women will
Right.
often file for divorce as like a warning saying, I'm really upset. And that's basically all
Yeah.
it means. The amount of
Yeah.
times I hear that the paperwork's been done, but then it gets walked back, and then the couple can actually move ahead forward from it and it's fine.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, right? It's more like an
Yeah.
alarm bell. So the guy finally
Right.
takes it
What?
seriously. My vision for how this would work going forwards is
Hmm.
actually that you undo some of this damage. That's the worst damage, really, that's going on in the marriage, which comes from her working outside the home. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
a unnatural situation because her priority should be you, your family, and looking after the kid too. Like, that's what it means to be feminine.
Yeah.
We don't want her going out on the grind, trying to stack paper and all the rest of it and being the boss babe, because that's getting her to act like a man. And there's also too many temptations, right? Most
Yeah.
infidelity is in the workplace. If
It
you're
is.
having those connections with colleagues the whole time, it's a bad situation to put yourself into. Like, whether you're a man or a woman, mixed sex workplaces like that, they're trouble. Happens all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So the goal would actually be to show her that all the fun things in life that she wants to use her job to get, she can have with you when she's fully supporting you in
Yeah.
your provider role. So we can elevate you financially, give a boost to your career, and it wouldn't be paying strangers to look after your kid and putting money in their pocket. You keep that in the family, and then you can have a stronger unit together. And this vision that you've got of you two supporting each other, that's how it works. You don't support her to become like a version of you, a second man in the marriage. We don't want that. That's crazy. She supports you to do your thing for both of you, right? And she gets all the benefit that she's currently getting from work, but via you, and also has that closer connection. And you can own up to, in the past, having failed to give that. There might need to be some deeper conversations about how you've changed as a man now and how you recognize the damage that did, because that's probably one of the biggest wounds, I think, that kind of disconnection and coldness. But
Yeah.
that means learning to lead emotionally, more calmly, and also having a much less feminist vision of your whole family setup. She's hitting you pretty hard with some feminism at the moment, but she learned it from you. Yep. You
Yeah.
told her to go after this. You didn't realize it at the time what it meant, but that's where it's got to. And what we do with guys in situations like this, and also some that are a lot worse, is basically give you the support to learn to lead in the areas where you've been weak in the past. We go through training about how we avoid being the second woman by becoming too emotional in arguments, having weak priorities about what the vision for the family is, having inconsistent boundaries that she can push over. Also, how you're doing things that you don't even know you're doing that are encouraging a 50-50 view of your roles in the marriage. So you're treating her as a man in all kinds of ways and encouraging feminism in her. And that's because the feminism starting in you. So we have to gut all that, rip it out, and replace it with a proper vision of patriarchy where there's strong polarity between you and her, even through things like body language, what you wear around the house, the different routines that you have. Sometimes it's even how guys text their wives, how they call them. All the interactions have to become more masculine. So there's no neediness,
Yeah.
no insecurity, no appeasement, and the woman knows exactly where she stands. But for you, the main thing, and this is the most important thing, you know deep down that she does value being a mom. And you know deep down there's something about you that she's always going to second guess walking away from. Like, it's no joke that
Mhm.
she's filed twice for divorce
Yeah.
and walked it back both times. That tells you a lot. There's so much to work with there. And you also know that no matter what her bank balance might look like, that real emotional providing and validation from you that hurt her so much in the past when it wasn't there, that's going to drop out of her life even more, right? After the divorce. Think how much that will hurt. You have to be the one with the good sense here to actually look ahead into the future and think she might like the sound of that, but she doesn't really know what it's going to involve. And what would it be like for your son as well, for you two to split permanently? He will miss out on having a happy, stable home life with a mom and a
Yeah.
dad. No
Yeah.
matter how good you are as a dad, you're still a single
Yeah.
dad. All the guys that I work with, I try to get them towards retiring their wives and bringing the wife back as the heart of the home, because that's the only place where women are truly happy. And we're generous towards our wives and we honor them and we give them all the fun stuff and the luxury within reason as well. So they get the best of both worlds and they feel like they're valued and cherished because of that. But the goal has to be her out of the workplace and really seeing her feminine role as being one that's connected to being wife and mother, first of all, not an employee of anyone else. So a big part of the training is all about what your marriage is really for. And it's about the two of you working together, first of all, to help make each other better people. And all these struggles you're going through right now are part of that. So you're trying to get her to heaven by working on her weaknesses. She's doing the same for you. And you've been upfront about how she's brought some of your weaknesses to the surface. And that's
Mhm.
great because we're not going to let them beat you. You can grow as a man by focusing on them. She can grow as a woman too, and you'll lead her in that. And the person who's going to benefit most from this is your kid. Now, this is a really hard situation because the separation has already happened. It's much easier
Yeah.
to do this when you're still living together. But
Yeah.
what you described is certainly not hopeless, right? Sometimes when that divorce threat comes in or the separation threat comes in or saying, no, we're really done now, it's just another shit test where the woman wants to find out what the man's made of. The reason we're doing it though isn't really to make her happy. Like, it will, you'll know it'll be better for her if you fix this situation, that's great. The reason we're doing it is because it's better for you as a man. Like, it's for you. It's stronger for you not to quit. It's stronger for you to give it everything. It's stronger for you to be able to say to your son, that was a situation that almost broke me, but it didn't. And here's what I learned. Okay. So this is really about a masculinity project for you. Our vision of marriage problems is that all of them boil down to man problems in the end, right? They involve woman problems, but every single marriage problem is a man problem at the deepest level. And most guys don't want to go there. And that's why most couples counseling and marriage therapy doesn't work, because it doesn't touch that deep level.
Yes.
This is the most anti-feminist thing about our approach, because we're going to say that the man is actually so powerful that only he has got the power to fix this. No amount of whining to the woman and asking her to change stuff is going to get anything done. Like, any other vision of things is going to be feminist. It puts her in the driving seat. It's painful, but it's true.